They was just there along for the ride to get you boosted up, to get your ego going. And once you fall, more than likely, most people ain't gonna be there for you. And that's where you have to say to yourself, man, don't let my ego be driving my behavior. Let love drive my behavior, but not ego. Family, 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 welcome to the Bacon Bits Podcast, y'all, where we desire for you to take the bits of information and immediately apply them to your life for success. The ground rules on this podcast is that will always be encouraging, uplifting, and informative. The areas of life that we'll be talking about today is dealing with having a balanced life, fam. You know I want y'all to have the whole enchilada, everything in life. I do. But I need you to say this out loud so we can start working on it. Say valuable information applied equals success. And fam, I want to send a shout out to my home state of Michigan. And I want to shout out to my people over in Indonesia. Thank you so much for you guys listening to the podcast. We are super grateful and super thankful that you are part of this wonderful thing called life and being a part of what we are doing here with the Bacon Bits Podcast. Because, guys, I want you to have your best life. And every time you take a bit of information and apply it to your life and you get successful in it, please do me a favor to send a response, send a little note saying you took this bit of information and applied it and it really worked for you. I would love to see that. I would love for you guys to follow me on whatever platform you are listening to this on, and I want you to share it. Don't just don't just keep it to yourself. There's somebody out there that as soon as you heard the episode, you was like, ooh wee, they need to hear this. And the cool part about it is, see, you ain't gotta get in trouble by you saying what I said. You just let me say it, and they'll have to deal with the consequences. So, fam, the name of this episode today is called Ego Trippin'. They say I'm ego tripping, my mind is slipping. Yeah. So y'all that know that song, I'm gonna let y'all, go where and ride it on out from there. But the ego trip, the ego trap of how pride is holding us back, how we need to finally let go, man, of that pride and that ego, man, and surrender to a life of peace. It is so important that we get out of ourselves. Get out of ourselves, man, and allow God to do what he does best. Some of you have heard it before, and I'm going to say it again. EGO, edging God out. That's what our ego does. Our pride does. One of the top 3 sins: lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. Pride is such a big thing, man. Big thing. Because when I ask you the question, as I always often ask myself, what is the biggest thing that's getting in my way of me having my best life? The biggest thing? Me. Ain't no getting around it, sugarcoating it. The biggest thing that gets in the way of me having my best life, y'all, is me. When I allow my pride and my ego to run course. When I'm, telling my, employer or my wife or whoever, I got this, man. I don't need no help. And when I tell God that, God, you know what, you got a lot that you're in charge of. You got a lot of things you're doing. God, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and take advantage of it. I'm gonna go ahead and take charge on this one right here. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. This is not that big. I'm gonna go ahead and take charge of it. And fam, every time I do that, bump my head on that curb. Got to come back and ask for forgiveness from my wife, from my co-workers, or my God. Lord, please forgive me. And he'd be like, okay, you ready to do it my way? I'm like, yes, Lord, I'm ready to do it your way. He said, that's how you should have started it off. But nevertheless, that's why my son died, so you can come back, ask for forgiveness, and move on to doing what it is that is needed. What is up with the ego and the false self? Because my ego is always wanting to be safe. My ego is always wanting to be admired. And my ego is always wanting to be superior, if I tell you the truth. And if I'm listening to this world, guess what? It ain't no different. You know, we always want to say we want to be the best in our area of expertise. And I got that. I'm just going to be honest with you. I just want to be good. Yeah. If God wants to be better now, I'm going to take all he got to offer. But a lot of times, man, we putting so much pressure on ourselves to be the absolute best. And this pack, if you're super ambitious, this might not be the podcast for you. But if you're trying to just, guess what? I want to be the best version of myself I can be. Yeah, this is for you. Because guess what? This is why we're talking about pride and ego. Fam, if I can just be one of the best in doing what it is that I do. Yeah, I'm not going to be the best in telling y'all how to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. Fam, I'm not. I ain't gonna even lie to you on that. I'm not gonna tell you how to be the absolute best husband. Guess what? Because I want to let y'all know I'm relatable. I want y'all to let you know I make mistakes, y'all. I'm not the best father. I'm not the best man. I'm not the best coworker. I'm not, man. And when I make sure I keep on telling myself that, and I'm always striving to be better, I'm staying open to being teachable, fam, I can do some things. I can do some things. And y'all know I love talking about the whole life. Y'all know financially, whether it's relational, whether it's health, whether it's mind, whether it's spirit. Man, I want to be in one of the top ones to do that. But I also got to be transparent and honest with you, because I don't want to always be no hypocrite. I don't, man. But do I sometimes not do what I'm supposed to do? Yeah, pride and ego. Or I got this. Or I can ride off the, coattails of all the stuff I've done in my past. No, man. What are you doing right now to live your best life? It's pride, ego trying to tell you that you're better than other people that's around you in whatever it is that you do. Yeah, I want you to be the best version of you. Like I said, I ain't gonna never stop telling y'all that. Be the best version of you. But when my pride says I'm better than you. No, if I'm better than me, we doing some things. Am I better than you? That ain't my call. Some people I'm their cup of tea. Some people I'm not. And for the people that I'm not their cup of tea, that's because they like coffee. Okay, but fam, I'm not everybody's. I'm going to be super gung-ho, excited, Mr. Positive. But, fam, I'm not for everybody. And I know that. So that's why I don't let pride and ego say, you know what, I'm the best at what fam, I'm great at what I do. I'm not perfect. I'm not the best. But it's knowing, guess what? Because you should have some self-love, some self-encouragement of you doing what you do. But knowing, fam, there's always room for improvement. Don't get caught up on, guess what, my way or the highway. Yeah, it's not like that, man. It's got to be knowing that there's so many issues and things that I need to deal with. That family, I gotta say, you know what? Let me be open and transparent and check myself. Let me do that, because I have got to get this pride thing under wraps. Because what happens when I'm in my ego? I get super defensive. I got a need to be right all the time. Yeah. That's that insecurity, that defensiveness, needing to be right all the time. That's that ego, comparison. My job ain't to compare myself to nobody but me every day. Am I being a better version of me today, in whatever area that may be, than I was yesterday? Got to make sure I'm not being judgmental of nobody. God didn't call me to judge nobody. Now, he called me to, guess what? You'll know a tree by their fruit. So he calls me to do that. But as far as judgment, only God can judge me. Only God can judge you. That's his job. My job is to be a good fruit inspector and to love on people and help them live their best life. But when I'm being judgmental and comparing myself and needing to be right and being defensive, fam, we know the ego done kicked in. And you gotta be careful of that, because society will try to reward you for being ego-driven. They'll make you get to the point that once they put you out there, man, and once you fall, because you're going to fall, because the pride and ego is going to be out there. When you fall, guess what? Ain't nobody going to be there for you to pick you up. They was just there along for the ride, to get you boosted up, to get your ego going. And once you fall, more than likely, most people ain't going to be there for you. And that's where you have to say to yourself, man, don't let my ego be driving my behavior. Let love drive my behavior, but not ego. And we got to differentiate between y'all. Like I said, healthy pride and toxic pride. You know, there's a healthy pride where you have some self-worth. You got dignity around yourself. That's important to have that, man. No question in my mind. But then you got that toxic pride where you just arrogant. You know, can't nobody tell you nothing. You refuse to admit when you're wrong. Yeah, that's when you're going over into narcissism now. And everybody ain't no doggone narcissist. A lot of us have narcissistic, tendencies. Don't lie on that. I know I got some. But as far as, man, when I'm in the wrong, I'm wrong, man. Kill that pride and ego. Yeah, I'm wrong. And I'm never to say I'm better than somebody. Yeah, always. I don't want to be toxic. I don't want to be this thing runs because of me. No, this thing runs because of God. Okay. As soon as I leave this planet, man, and my time is no longer to be here, this thing gonna keep on rolling. When I'm not in my wife's life or my kids' life, man, when it's all said and done, honestly, it'll keep on rolling. I love being a part of their life and doing the right thing and loving up on them and they loving on me. But man, eventually, guess what? I'm not gonna be on this earth forever. So when I leave, guess what? Life keeps going. And that's where pride and ego should leave out the way. Like the earth ain't gonna crash because I'm gone. No, it's gonna keep on moving where it's going. And that's where you have a healthy pride having that. But man, watch that word pride. Just watch it as an example. Because if you're not careful, man, your relationships are gonna be damaged by you refusing to apologize or to change. The relationships are brutally damaged when you refuse to apologize or change. Because a lot of times what happens is when we ask people for forgiveness, it's not because we're saying, please forgive me because I was wrong, and after I ask you for forgiveness, I'm going to change. Most people ask for forgiveness because they got caught. That's all it is. And even in that part is pride and ego. If they wouldn't have got caught, they would have kept on doing what they was doing. And you hope that they'll get to the point where you say, you know what, man, I'm tripping right now. I need to change my life in the direction that it's going, because what I'm doing is not working. It's not working because family, when it's ego involved, it's hard to let go. When ego is involved, you have this sense of control and identity is wrapped up in that. Letting go, for some people, it's like death to finally admit, you know what, I got a drug and alcohol problem. I got a spending problem. I got an eating problem. I got a ego problem. Fam, whatever that thing is, it gives you a sense of control and identity. And to have to get to the point where you actually surrender, the reason why it's so hard is because you have a fear of vulnerability. Being vulnerable to somebody and saying that I'm wrong. You feel like you're going to lose status. This is the part that's so crazy. The more you are honest and transparent with people, the more status you actually get. It really is. Because people know where you're coming from, and you could say, you know what, that brother ain't too prideful to ask for forgiveness. He's not too prideful in saying I'm sorry. Yeah, if I suck in that, man, and like I said, I don't want to ask for forgiveness because I got caught. I don't want my pride and ego to be in that. I want to ask for forgiveness because I really am sorry for what I did. And I'm going to show you that I'm sorry by what I did by changing my actions so that doesn't happen again. And so we got to make sure, guess what, fam, go ahead and get vulnerable. Go ahead and get to the point where you can admit that you're wrong and acknowledge it. Get to that point. Because you want to share stories of, yeah, man, when I said, man, I'm like, I didn't try to start 3 businesses and they failed. Why did I fail at all 3 businesses? It's because I was trying to do it independently on my own ability and my own knowledge of what I thought I knew, when I'm not good at everything when it comes to starting a business. Think about all the different dynamics you got to do with a business. You got to, man, have an accountant. You got to have a marketing team. You need to have people that's managing you. You got to have all kind of different things. And man, my little pride and ego would not let me admit, like, I think I got this. And as all 3 failed, guess what? The only person that was the common denominator at was me. But then when I got to the point, I'm like, I need some help. I'm not good at every area of life. If I could just say, you know what, in this area, I do need some help in the accounting department. I do need some help in my finances. I do need some help in personal relationships. I do need some help in seeing the bigger picture, the bigger vision of what this can be, whatever that is. Man, be vulnerable, to be open and transparent, and to share your story of where you messed up at, where you sucked at. Yeah, I sucked in my first part of my part in my first divorce was I was so in love with the church that I wasn't taking care of the woman that I was been blessed with as a wife. Yes, because remember, divorce is not one person's problem. It's both people doing something wrong. And so I can admit that on my first marriage, fam, I was always at the church. I'm there for Bible study, praise and worship rehearsal. I'm doing the accounting books for the church. It was overwhelming that I was cheating on my family with the church. That's part of being transparent. That's part of being honest. That's part of killing your pride and ego and saying, fam, it didn't work because of that. So now that I'm trying to do everything up and do it right, and guess what? Sharing the load, things in my life are working way better, and I'm really enjoying this season in my life. But it had to get to a point where I had to admit to myself my pride and ego was in the way and stopping me from living my best life. So it goes back to, what's some strategies on how to figure that whole thing out? Well, first of all, you got to be self-aware. Recognize when that ego is really talking to you. Recognize, man, you know what? In this situation right now, I'm being super judgmental of this person, man. I am being fearful, because fear will make you prop your ego up too. So watch the fear that you're having in that moment. And then, do I think I'm better than somebody in that moment? When I'm really not. Really not. And it goes back to the question of, am I being the best version of myself in this moment? I ain't even looking at people outside of me. Y'all know, if you hear my podcast, I'm always going to do self-reflection. That's big, man. Am I being the best version of me? Because I always tell you, if I got to put somebody down to make myself feel good, y'all, something wrong. I got to be open and say, man, I suck at this. I'm wrong. Please forgive me. You got to practice humility, man. Admit when you're wrong. Ask for help. And listen more than you talk. God blessed us with 2 ears and 1 mouth. If you cover up 1 ear with 1 hand and you cover up 1 mouth with the other hand, you still got an ear. Listen twice as much as you talk. Yes, this is what I'm gifted to do, is run my mouth and be a blessing to so many people. But fam, also, I need to sit my tail down somewhere and listen. Pay attention. Understanding that when I'm being vulnerable, I'm actually being strong and not weak. God says, in my weakness, he is made strong. That's what his word says. So I'm supposed to be boasting in my weaknesses. Man, I suck at podcasting, but God sees fit for the podcast to be a blessing. Man, I suck at my job, but God sees fit for me to be a blessing to so many people. Fam, I suck at being married, but fam, God sees fit. God says wherever you are weak, to boast about that. I suck at party planning, man. That's why I had somebody else playing the party for me. See, I'm not good at everything. Having a constant reminder of myself of, guess what? There are so many areas I am so weak in. So many areas, y'all. But when I open myself up to my vulnerability of me being weak, somebody can come alongside me that's strong in those areas and be a blessing. And I was able to get out the way, have a more productive life by being vulnerable and saying I suck at this. And somebody could be able to come along and being able to give me the help I need to be able to fix it. That's the thing that's so beautiful, man. Sometimes when you having moments where you that ego and pride is kicking in, how about you start journaling, man? Well, how about you start writing down what you feel like in moments that you like, know what, I'm letting my ego kick in on this one. Man, I'm letting my pride kick in. Let me do a little analysis. Sometimes journaling, is to figure that stuff out and see what's going on so that I can deal with that. Because, man, when it's all said and done, man, my ego is my enemy, y'all. Ain't no getting around it. My ego is my enemy. My pride is my enemy. And I got to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to always make sure I am killing that joker, putting it to rest. And that's huge, man. That is so huge. I want y'all to think about some of this stuff, man. I just want you to reflect on this, man. You don't measure love in how high you build your walls, but it's how easily you let them fall. The thing about being lovable and loving kindness and joy and peace around you is being vulnerable to let your walls down. Be open and transparent. Say in these areas I suck, man. Could I have been a better father? Yes. Better husband? Yes. Better co-worker? Yes. Better man? Yes. To ask God for forgiveness and knowing he gonna forgive me and clean my slate. And for me to be open and vulnerable and to listening for the advice and the information that I need to be a better person in all those areas. To think to myself, man, let me get around people that I can be open and transparent with and really ask them, man, you know what? If you see me acting a certain way, man, check me. Because I don't want to be this version of me. I want to be the best version God intended for me to be. And in order for me to do that, sometimes I need to be checked. Because my ego and pride can open up and make me so ugly. Can make me so have a distaste for me because of me not allowing the love, the joy, the peace, and all the other stuff that God wants to come through me, the fruit of the Spirit, to flow through me. I'm allowing the enemy, the old version of me, the demonic story, voices I'm hearing in my head, the storyteller, the narrator in my head, to allow me to get cocky and it over confident in myself, and to say, you know what, man, let me be open and say, you know what, I really need some help in these areas. Yeah, there's some stuff that you do. Yeah, I told y'all, God blessed us with some gifts and some talents. Well, there's some things that we are good at. He naturally gifted us in some areas, and there's some things that he has to train us in to be better. And if we're open and receptive to that, he wants to make us the best version of us. He wants people to see the work that we do, but he wants also to get the glory. And I love that part. You know what? Guess what? God the one gave me the voice to talk to y'all on this podcast. God is the one that gave me the ideas to flow through my mind while I'm talking on this podcast. God is the one that gave me the breath to breathe while I'm on this podcast. He made my heart to beat while I'm talking to you on this podcast. I can't take no glory for that, man. God does all that. All I'm supposed to do is use the gifts, callings, and talents that he gave me. All I'm supposed to do is get out the way, move, and let God be God in me. Let him love through me. Let him allow me to be the best version of who I'm supposed to be. Fam, please do me a favor. The time is now. If you're listening to this podcast, check your pride and your ego and see where you're going. Check the basis of that and see, man, what do I need to move out the way so I can allow and make room for all the love and blessings and things that God wants to give me. Let me get out the way. Let me get out my own way and enjoy life the way it was designed to be, to give God the glory. Fam, this is your boy John Bacon with the segment of Bacon Bits. I love you guys. God bless. What up, fam? Do you need some extra tools that's going to help your life be the best that it can possibly be? Are you constantly juggling work, family, and personal time, only to feel drained and unfulfilled? That's where the book that I wrote, called The Balanced Life, can be your guide to reclaiming your time, energy, and happiness, with practical strategies for setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and achieving real balance. This book helps you create a life that you love without the burnout. Get ready to break free from the chaos and step into a life of purpose and peace. Grab your copy of The Balanced Life, because you deserve a life that works for you. Also, we have The Unraveling. It's a journal to help you write, reflect, and heal. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings deserve space. The Unraveling Journal is more than just a notebook. It's your personal guide to self-reflection, healing, and growth. With guided prompts, mindfulness exercises, and room to express yourself freely, this journal helps you untangle emotions, process life's challenges, and rediscover clarity. Take a moment for you. Write, reflect, and heal, one page at a time. And fam, also another book written by my wife is Healthy Relationships. Because fam, you know this, great relationships don't just happen, they're built. Whether it's with your partner, kids, friends, or co-workers, strong connections are the foundation of a happy life. In healthy relationships, you'll learn how to communicate better, set healthy boundaries, and nurture trust in every relationship that matters to you. Because when your connections thrive, you thrive. Start building stronger, healthier relationships today. Order your copy at kingdomservantsfirst.com. Once again, that's kingdomservants1st.com. Fam, we want you to be the best version of yourself. Get one of these books today. God bless.